He said he been playing organized since he was 4 years old. Kyle Cuff, salute, brother. Bob, you the hood agent, man. You recruited your high school team, son, and Team Dynasty. You need a contract. You should have been an agent, B. Gary, was good, brother? Sir.
Kyle, who that? Gary?
Yes, sir.
Gundy? My man Gundy.
Ron was good. So yeah, you talking about going back for your sophomore year now?
Yeah, man. I had my team set up, man. Bobby and Ricky was on that team, man. Ricky didn't want to play. Ron, what's up? Ricky didn't want to play, because he felt we wasn't really good enough, pretty much. And they were winning. He liked to win. I like to win too. So that's why I wanted them, on my team.
Yeah, up there with you. Yes, sir.
So we had my man Kenny Mack, Raul Natera, Rashawn Vaughn, Anwar, what's Anwar last name? Anwar Lewis. Jermaine Harris, he was a transfer from Columbus. James Brown is at the school that year, but he had transferred in from FDA, so he had to sit out that year.
Okay.
And matter of fact, Jamar Williams, I think he was on that team as well. I think he was another junior, and Randy Williams. Yeah, Rashawn Vaughn. I think I mentioned Rashawn. Rashawn was on that team. And we weren't really that good.
Okay.
I ended up taking the leading role, with Kenny Mack and Raul Natera. Rashawn Rashawn had his issues with Coach Carey, so so he was in and out, man, and I think with his grades as well. Nah, Charlie was on. He was on that team my freshman year. Charlie got kicked out freshman year, and ended up at St. Raymond's. Coach Carey said he gave the call to Gary D because Charles lived in Parkchester. So Gary D said, please take him, because Gary D was the dean of discipline up there, and from what Charles did, I don't think it'd be right, for you to take a kid, with pretty much average grades and, from what he got kicked out, out of school from. So it was, to Coach Carey, it was kind of a favor, but to Gary D, it was probably because Charles played with the Bronx Ravens, him and Randy.
Okay.
So Gary D, it was like, I guess it was like, welcome home.
Yeah.
Yeah. And who wouldn't take a 6'9", gonna be 6'10", pretty much stretch 4, and long arms, blocks everything, so I'm thinking, this next year that we're gonna have a great team, looking at it during my freshman year. I'm like, okay, Charles is a junior, Randy's a junior, Raleigh Santil can shoot the hell out the ball, Rashawn, even though he's one of those guys like, I'm better than you. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, we got to play together, dude.
Exactly. You always get those, yo.
So and I'm RIP Devon Hyman. Devon Hyman, he played with the guy.
That's the guy right there. All world. That's my man.
That's my dude. We played together at Douglas.
Okay.
And I saw him before he passed, man. we was talking, he pretty much was like, I did bad for you, your freshman year at the school or whatever, because there was some type of animosity, and I'm like, yo, what the hell is going on with this dude,
Who Dave on?
But yeah, he didn't talk a lot, I knew what
Attitude was different.
different, but I knew what he was into, but it's like, yo, dude, let's win.
Yeah.
So we had our talks, and he pretty much, fessed up to him not doing right, stuff like that, so but we always remain cool. There's always love, when we saw each other, stuff like that. So
That's my dude.
that really hurt me past,
Absolutely.
Freshman year, I'm thinking, we're gonna be all right,
Mm-hmm.
And then I see the team, and matter of fact, the point guard that played JV that year, he didn't want to play basketball, so my sophomore year, so it was like, this team is all messed up, yo. We need Ricky Bobby.
Yeah.
And they were pretty much like, hell no, man. We staying down here. It's like, all right. So how good were we? This is how good we were. At that time, freshmen and JV probably practiced together, and sometimes JV and varsity would practice together because Ed Gonzalez was the assistant coach for varsity, but the head coach of JV.
Okay.
And we would scrimmage, the JV team. They kick our ass, man. Like, kick our ass, man. It was like towards the end of the season, he put me on the JV team with Ricky and Bobby and them, man. And, and it gave us a little taste of what we were in for, the following year.
Yes, sir.
I think I ended up averaging like 15, 16 points playing, my sophomore year, but again, for me, it was about the improvement, and at this time, the team is mine. And when freshman year, we won 8 games. This year, we had a 500 record. We, 13-13, so that was.
Were you at the focal point?
Yeah.
You impacted
But
that team. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's like, that felt good for me.
Absolutely.
And is what I expected and what I wanted, And
you got the opportunity to do what you knew you could do at the level you knew you can do it, and you proved yourself.
Correct. And at this time, it was like, how do I improve my game? Not from me, because again, this is all just fun, and I'm going off my talent.
Yes, sir.
I'm not introduced to, individual workout, or, I didn't have a chip on my shoulder like, yo, I need to get in the gym and, so I could bust this kid's ass or whatever the case is. For me, it was all fun.
Yeah.
What comes from it, because whereas, you would think that, I would, go out in the park or in the gym, work on some stuff, whatever the case is. From practice, and I had the last practice. I'm leaving, 7:30 at night, and I'm heading to do homework.
Got you.
I'm in the top class. I'm playing varsity. I got late practice, I'm heading home to do homework, because I got a strict, father and mother,
Absolutely.
grades, so that was the important, piece for me. I was good, so it was whatever it is, and Coach Carey knew. What's up, Rob? Dub, what up? Coach Carey, pretty much 3 hours of homework. Yeah, All Hallows, Bob. You was in the 4 class, man. Like, your homework was light.
I was about to say, Bob ain't never do 3 hours of homework in his life.
Yo, I had homework from every class, man. Like, I was doing workouts going home with a heavy book bag,
Yeah, dang.
you know. But yeah, I had the mindset go home, take a nap, get up. Homework was done by about 2 in the morning.
Damn.
You know, get up, go back to sleep, get up, get ready for school.
Yeah.
That was my routine. So but Coach Carey, I talked about me learning, as far as the aspects of my game, as far as my IQ and passing and stuff like that.
Yep.
Taking note, Coach Carey, well, Ronald Ramon's pops, because I was kind of instrumental in trying to getting Ronald over to
All Hallows.
All Hallows. Ron had played with the Gauchos, and his pops would have workouts at the gym.
Okay.
And pops saw my jump shot, and he was like, "Yo, you need to work on that. This is how you do it." And he don't speak no English really. I understand maybe about 2 or 3 words. And he would help me, shoot from up here because I shot from pretty much my waist.
Okay.
Had me bring it up here, and shoot like that. But it was difficult. It wasn't what I was used to.
Yep.
And so I actually went back to my old way my freshman year. Because that was like 8th grade.
Okay.
So my freshman year in at All Hallows. So after the season, Coach Carey was helping me working on bringing the ball up from here, without a hitch, stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
because shoot the hell up the ball,
Yeah.
Even at that age, there were times that my pops tried, but my pop shot so weird,
Got you.
What's up, Cole? So my pops shot from behind his head, my cousin talks about it all the time, and he really wasn't the type of guy that give you pointers, about how to shoot. His thing with me was take the spin off. I don't know how to take the spin off the ball, man. You got to show yourself,
Yeah.
But with the way he shot, he averaged 36 points a game. He'd give you 40 real quick, So I
Legend.
couldn't learn from that. I just kept doing what I was doing, So Coach Carey helped me out. And like I told you, it took, I said 15, it took about 10 years, man, just working on it from, different coaches taking different pointers and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
But it wasn't something that was consistent. It was consistently worked on.
Okay.
For me, I didn't have the time, and it really wasn't important for me.
Got you.
So so that's my preparation. That was the only preparation, as far as the following year is concerned. From there, AAU, Gauchos is in shambles. I told you, what happened,
Yes, sir.
with senior team. So it was like,
All those people.
I need to find the team. Dave McCullough's not there. He went over to Riverside. And, Riverside got 15 guards. So I played with the Ravens after my sophomore year.
Okay.
And it was pretty much, yo, Marv, come on, and I play, and I end up on the end of the bench.
Yeah.
And it makes sense, I look at it even then, but after I look at it like, who's on the end of the bench? It's me, Allan Ray, Kurt Stinson, my man Leon Fuller, who actually went to All Hallows, played with us, from Jamaica, and Sean Dantzler. And they pretty much, Artie Green pretty much got a 5-6 man rotation, and my man Mike was on that team too. So it was like 5 starters, and then maybe Al, maybe maybe Kurt, and after that first tournament or two, them dudes complaining, yo, you got me on this trip, I ain't getting no burn, this, that, and the third. This is Kurt, and Al, and they grew up playing for Artie.
Yes, sir.
After that, they playing. And I'm still at this bench. So, and I think Kurt is probably a year older than us in school at the time, but me and Al, we're in the same grade.
Yeah.
Al played, JV,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm like, you got me at the end of this bench, because Jules Hodge is 6'7", I think at the time.
Yeah.
Shit, he played point guard.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Because during school, Matt Augustin played point guard. So I'm like, all right, cool. Jules would be on the one wing, Francisco Garcia in the other wing. Me and Al, take turns at the point. That's great for me.
Yeah. Why not? Sounds good.
Jules, getting ready for All-American, man. Nah, AG, I'm playing the point guard. I'm like, oh, shit. So AG didn't even have it set up that way.
Yeah.
So he so Jules had his way, man. Jules was running the point.
Okay.
So I was on the end of the bench. And I spoke to my pops and I'm like, he's like, yo, nah, stick it out. You made the decision, so that's what it is. So another whole summer, national schedule, we gonna play everywhere. All the Adidas getting gear left and right, but no time.
You're not playing, yeah.
So that was pretty much my summer. Besides, the local tournaments, us, All Hallows, we would play in the GOAT, we play in my pops tournament, Rucker Park, different things like that. So we would do some things, but as far as playing against the nation's best, I was at the end of the bench.
Got you. I got it.
Yeah. So junior year, now, I'm really excited.
You
got
got
my
the
boys
guys.
These dudes coming off a 20-win season.
Yeah.
I'm having a great year. My sophomore year, individually. And I'm like, yeah, this is going to be great. And I'm like, going in, I'm like, okay, cool. If I could still average, around 13, I think I'll be all right, And there's a lot of people concerned about, a lot of people meaning, within All Hallows, as far as this is my team, these guys coming up, is Marv going to do a lot of shooting, a lot of scoring, whatever the case is. And I know basketball, man. Like that's I got Ricky on one side, I got Bobby on this side.
Yep.
So I get a call, from a college coach at the time. Matter of fact, I don't get a call. Ed gets a call. They're talking, I get on the phone with him and he's like, yo, listen, man. You think you can score 4 points every quarter? I'm like, yeah, sure, that's sound about right. I could do that. He said, because you got Ricky coming up, he's a shooter, he's a scorer, he needs to score. You got Bobby on the other end, and then you got the big fella down low. So it's like, I'm like, nah, that sounds pretty good. That's cool. And I'm just about winning, man. I want to do everything that it takes, to win. So for me, it's still my team, but I'm giving up some of, how I feel I should be playing, sacrifice, for a winning aspect.
Yes, sir.
And we had a great year, man. We started off playing Malloy in the Thanksgiving tournament. Beat them by 16. Unfortunately, we wound up losing to Grady with Quincy Doobie, Woody Sue front. my boy Antaeus, I ended up playing with him with the Long Island Panthers.
Okay.
That 5 year. But they had a nice team. Quincy and Woody. Oh, and Taekwon. Taekwon Goody. Tough little guard, about 5'4", strong as hell.
Okay.
Played for Riverside. So they had a great team. I think they ended up winning the city championship that year, PSAL.
Okay.
So we lost to them early, and then from there we beat everybody. Maybe like our third or fourth game we played against St. Ray's, that was a hype game, play against those dudes and matter of fact before that we had a couple reporters in practice before the season started. We didn't know where it was going. From the Daily News, taking pictures and stuff like that, and eventually we ended up in a paper, I think ended up being ranked and this is the first time, us in the paper preseason, I think we ended up being ranked 10th in the city, something like that.
Okay.
Which was great,
Yep.
For us, then we playing against St. Ray's. And Ricky went to work, I was solid, Bobby was solid, Ricky went to work, him versus Jules. I think they had 28 apiece. We ended up beating them, and that pretty much, was watch out for All Hallows, and I mean, we beat everybody, man.
Your junior year.
My junior year, we beat everybody. That was a 20-win season. I think won 22 games. But we ended up meeting Malloy in the playoffs in the first round. Because we played in the Archdiocese tournament. We beat St. Ray's in the championship. But what happened that year was right before our last regular season game, right before we played Rice. James Brown fell off. James was one of those dudes who was like Vinnie Johnson. Ricky get his first. If me, Ricky, or Bobby get our first foul, he's taking off his warm up. He's getting ready to get in.
Yeah.
He's getting ready. He's like, please get in foul trouble, please. He ready to get in the damn game so he could go score.
Yeah, yeah.
And he played defense. So we lost him due to grades. So Ronald Ramon is at the school now, and he's a freshman.
Okay.
And he's playing JV. And they're winning. So right before the Rice game, I'm like, yo, Ron, because I knew we needed another guard.
Okay.
I'm like, yo, I told, Gonzalez and Coach Carey, like, yo, listen, we need another guard, man. James failed off. So I'm like, yo, I told Coach Carey, tell Ed, yo, we need Ronald.
Okay.
He said, you tell him. He said, I already had that conversation with him. I said, all right, man. I spoke to Ed. He said, you tell him. I already had that conversation with him.
Okay.
Ronald. I said, yo, Ron, we need you to come play. James failed off. We need another guard. Ronald with his cheese, he's like, chill, Mo. I'm like, oh, fuck you talking about? We got a chance to win the city championship, dude.
Yeah.
So do I. He said, so do we. Now I want to win the, championship. I said, yo, who's going to remember a JV championship?
Yeah.
Come play varsity so we can win this chip.
Yeah.
He's like, nah. So, and that was the last game to do it, because it's a regular season game.
Yeah.
We went off, we beat Rice, Rice wasn't that good then. They had all the players, but they weren't that good then. They had 2 7-footers, Shaquille Mitchell and Shagari.
Sorry. Yes, sir.
And our bigs, tallest 163, out rebounded them. Really worked hard. And, Kenny Mack is, I call him Mack Truck. His shoulders
Whoa.
crazy. So he box out. He uses his body well, grab rebounds. Raul jumps out the building.
Okay.
So they did their thing against them. So we wound up beating them. Ronald and them beat Rice, and we go on to the playoffs. We beat St. Ray's in the Archdiocese, tournament. So we got them twice out of 3 times.
Okay.
That. So we already knew we was well on the way to winning the city championship.
Yep.
But we still, had this loose end. Even though James was trying to still get back on the team, probationary period, something like that. But at All Hallows, things don't quite work that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
At another school, yeah.
Yeah.
At
Absolutely.
All Hallows, not with Principal Sullivan.
Gotcha.
It's not happening. So we lose in the first round that we play, but before that we're looking, at the brackets.
Okay.
And we St. Raymond's, we the champions, and we're looking at the brackets like, yo, damn, they got an easy ass road to the chip.
Mm.
I'm like, we're winning this championship like this. This is a difficult ass road. So the first matchup with us was Malloy.
Okay.
And Malloy is tough. They used to be, one of the top schools in the Brooklyn Queens. They ended up, I guess, in 4th place.
Okay.
How does happen? So we meet them, and St. Ray's cruise on, to the chip, and they meet Malloy in the chip because we lost to Malloy. It was pretty much because we didn't have James. So so that shot us in the foot. Malloy was the guy, Kevin Hamilton. I think Kevin Bishop was on that team. Wendell Gibson, John Sickerick.
Tough.
Real tough. Marlon Smith was on that team, as a sophomore, and they were long, man. I mean, John Sickerick is probably about 6'5". Kev is 6'5". I think the other dude's 6'5". Like Wendell's about 6'6".
Yeah.
So they were huge,
Yep.
as dogs, and bigs, so. And so we ended up losing them by a little bit. Wendell got his way through a few elbows, backed our bigs down.
Mm.
Pretty much all she wrote.
Okay.
So, but still a successful season. We were ranked that year, in the nation. Beating Rice, beating St. Raymond's, beating Malloy, we played these dudes too, Long Island Lutheran, beat them, so we did our thing in the city, beat Bishop Loughlin, during that year. All the top teams, and at this time, the Catholic League is well known and pretty much has a lot of clout in the nation. So
yeah, the Archdiocese was definitely rocking when y'all was there.
Beating up on each other, if you winning a lot of games, you're definitely going to be ranked, in the nation. So
absolutely,
that's where we were with it, but we had pretty much a tragic end, to that, great season, because we were definitely well on our way, to the championship, and possibly, because I believe we had their number, St. Ray's.
At this point, are you being recruited already? Your junior year?
I don't really know what that means. I've had a bunch of letters, since my freshman year. So me, and it goes back to what my pop said. Yo, did he see you play? So if you just looking at names on the list, and sending a letter, to me, that's not really, recruiting, but
Absolutely.
obviously my name is on boards,
Okay.
actually recruiting, I really don't know.
Okay.
I still got the box of letters, Rutgers, got letters from Kentucky, Wake Forest, NC State, a whole bunch of letters.
Yeah.
So, the recruitment, the actual really recruit process for me, started, I would guess, like after my junior year. Matter of fact, during the junior year, Coach Carey has, a few guys that he knows. I think Q, man, I forget Q's name, but at the time he was at UNC. So he would stop by the gym, see us play and stuff like that. Tony Childs would stop by. I think he was at Manhattan at the time. Matter of fact, no, he already had made the transition to Iona. um, and Anthony Solomon, would come up to the gym. Anthony Solomon was at Notre Dame
Okay.
at the time. So it was whatever connections coach had. I think Anthony Solomon was real friendly with Olden Polynice, so he kept in contact with Coach Carey. So they would stop by, watch practice and stuff like that. For me, we saw it as an opportunity because we had college coaches in the building.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like they just as friends.
Okay, I got it.
And ain't no real telling, what's really going on.
Did you have a
But
school set that you wanted to go to? Did like once you like going into your senior year that after this is college? You know what I'm saying? Was that on your mind, or you was like, I'm gonna play and I'm gonna see how it goes?
it was pretty much play, see how it goes. Is at that time, again, I don't really understand the recruiting process. A whole bunch of letters. There's no phone calls or anything like that. So I don't get my hopes up high about anything, except, unless you give a call or something like that. Coach Carey tells me something, and I'm pretty much, it's still just fun,
Okay.
I have an opportunity to go to college for free.
Yep.
I'm gonna find a way to go to school anyway,
Yeah, absolutely. And academically, you've always been sound. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Do I go Division I? Do I understand the levels and stuff like that? Not really,
Okay.
not really.
Okay.
But going Division I, if I'm competing against, all these guys I'm competing, against and having, pretty good games, whether it's 10-6, 10-8, 16-8, whatever the case is, against, the top competition who's being recruited, at the time, so they say, because, I really don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's talks and papers and different things like that,
Mm-hmm.
so if I'm doing well against them, then it should be a no-brainer. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
And, as far as people in the crowd, I always carried myself, a certain way because I learned early, you never know who's watching you,
Absolutely.
So if it happens, it happens,
Got it.
that's just how I felt, but guys talk,
Mm-hmm.
talk. It was a lot of talk being that Tony was at Iona, yeah, Iona will be my safety school. Like, all right, cool. Cody's there,
Yeah.
all right, you know, so it was kind of talks like that. But as far as the recruiting process, I wanted to pretty much go to camps, play, prove myself there, whatever the case is, because I wasn't pretty much given the opportunity, during the summer as far as
And
AAU ball,
yeah.
so after that year, I wound up, going back with the Gauchos, playing in a few tournaments and stuff like that, and playing in IS8, with the Gauchos, And, somebody from the Long Island Panthers saw me play, wanted me to play with the Panthers, so I ended up, all right, cool, I'll go play with the Panthers. And we had a great team. That first, we went to Bob Gibbons. That first team that we had Speedy Claxton's younger brother, Mike. I don't know why that's the first name, but Charlie Villanueva, Jason Frazier, Kurt Sumter,
Yeah.
Gary, Lenny Cook, Quincy Doobie, Kendall Provitt. Kendall Provitt. Think about another Kendall. But Kendall, was on that team.
Damn.
Missing a few guys. But Auburn Scott went to LIU. So we had a stacked team, great team,
Word up.
and they have their core players, their Long Island, Panthers players, and then you have Quincy Doobie, myself, and Kendall, who are pretty much, I would say, like hired guns,
Yes, sir.
We not, their guys.
Yeah.
We didn't grow up.
Yep.
So we the last to get in, stuff like that. But we end up playing against Raymond Felton and another kid from Queens. I forget his name. He ended up, I think, at South Carolina. Then played against Darius Washington. He was with Mari Stoudemire. That team, we beat them.
You getting a play at this point though with them?
Yeah, I'm playing a little bit, but again, it's not. We're not their guys, what I'm saying. But we're getting some time, But Gary Irvin is getting the bulk of the time at the guard spot, and obviously you got to play Lenny Cook, Jason Frazier, Charlie Villanueva, Kurt Sumter, So
it was just
they would get, bulk of the minutes or whatever the case is, and we would come off the bench, me and Kendall sparked it, defensively, playing alongside of those guys at the same time. So it was like in and out. I think Guy did a really good job, with trying to get us involved,
Okay.
Quincy didn't like his time, Kendall didn't like it. Kendall wasn't really, on it like that, and we did a lot of battling as young guys, from like the age of 9 to 10 years old. Kendall and I, because he played with St. Mark's, Abyssinian, so we had a lot of great battles between he and I, and it was like a mutual respect, and now we're playing together. It was like, we're gonna, pretty much make some noise with these guys.
Okay.
And Kendall in some trouble, so he didn't, really finish out the summer with us.
Got it.
So the next tournament was we ended up playing like the 3 Adidas tournaments. The first tournament was at Hofstra. It was 3 stripes tournament. At that time, Lenny Cook, had his differences with the Panthers. He left, played with, I think Debbie had a team. And Gary Irvin left. He started playing with Riverside.
Okay.
But they brought along Taekwon Dean, who ended up at Louisville.
Yeah, Louisville. Yes, sir.
So it's me and Taekwon, in the backcourt. Quincy Doobie didn't come back. Kendall didn't come back. So it was me and Taekwon Dean, in the backcourt. We playing against Houston's team. Played against, I think we played against them in the championship. We beat the Atlanta Celtics. And it's just pretty much me and him, and and Auburn Scott.
Okay.
We won the championship.
Nice.
And I did really well. I killed. I ran the team, everything. Taekwon shoot from anywhere. And then got those other 3 guys who. Jason's All-American, Charlie, a year behind, All-American. I think Kurt might have missed it by a little bit, So, you know, that team was great. It wasn't really much to do except for run the team, hit my open shots, you know, play some defense, you know, and pretty much don't turn the ball over, you know. So,
Yeah, you good.
you know, it was great, you know. I scored, you know, distributed, and we killed.
That's what's up.
So
And that was the
the
summer
next,
between your junior and senior year.
yeah, that's between my junior and senior year. You know, it's my last shot.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do great, you know, and the next trip is big time in Vegas. So on my at the airport, you know, they like, yo, listen, um, Showtime is coming. Oh, Showtime is coming. Damn, Marv, Showtime coming. I'm like, all right, so what? It's 3 guards now, so I guess like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Showtime is coming. All right, so that was Showtime Hill is with us.
Arrow Hill, yeah, yes, sir.
I didn't know that meant I wasn't gonna play.
Oh shit.
So I'm out in Vegas,
Yeah.
and I don't get no burn.
Damn.
I said, I just won the championship.
Word.
And no burn, nothing at all. You know, call my pops again.
Yeah.
Nah, don't worry about it. Like you on y'all gonna do something special. You know, I'm like, all right, cool, man. I'll stick it out.
Yeah.
So we won all the tournaments. You know, played against Darren Williams. You know, got very, 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 very light burn.
Okay.
You know, played against Nate Robinson and those guys. You know, we just beat up on everybody. You know, I had a front row seat.
Okay.
You know, but that was pretty good though. You know, I enjoyed the 3 stripes thing. You know, on the trip vibing with the guys. Oh, we had man, Tim Doyle was on our team.
Damn.
Tricky Tim Doyle was on that team, man. And Tim Doyle was good, man.
Yeah.
No athletic bone in his body, but he's a winner. You know, he's a winner. Found a way to score.
Yeah.
You know, shoot hand, right hand. He was really good. Funny as hell, though. You know, he's hilarious. You know, so we had a pretty damn good team. You know, so you know, me and Jason Frazier, we still communicate. You know, still to this day. You know,
That's what's up.
that's so, you know, build some relationships. You know, and you know, friendly with all those guys. Guy and I still talk. He invited me to his tournament coaching at All Hallows.
Yeah.
You know, so on Garland. So it was great for me. You know, and all the guys that was involved on that coaching staff. You know, like my man Chuck. So that was good.
So
You know, but
going into your senior year, right?
uh-huh.
You still not thinking about where you're gonna play. You thinking about a chip for that year, right?
Thinking about a chip.
Okay.
Think about winning the city championship.
So
You
talk
know.
about that senior year.
So now we got Ronald, you know, but I'm getting the wire that Bobby's not doing well with Ron Ramon, you know, talks about Ronald starting. I'm like, why why would he be worried about Ronald starting?
Yeah.
Ronald ain't starting. Ronald, he coming off the bench.
Yeah, yeah.
But that should be, you know, no talks or whatever the case is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and why you worrying about whether or not you start? You're going to get starters minutes.
Yeah, facts.
So that was like right before the season, you know. Still thinking about championship, you know, and then more bad news. You know, my man Eddie Yango decides to try to dunk it on somebody in gym, and he blew out his knee.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so our 4-man, you know, because he was back and forth with starting the previous year, you know, but Raul won the starting position over him, you know, so he came off the bench. Now he's going to be starting at the 4, and, you know, we're going to be good. We got Ronald Ramon and Albert Forbes, you know, to come off the bench, and my guy Marv Moore. And we got Luis Nieves, you know, Kiko, also coming off the bench. So we looking really good, you know. And then we got a couple other guys that played, you know, JV. We got one guy played JV, Sam Alston, who's now the head coach at All Hallows.
Okay.
And then you know, the guys who played JV with Ricky and Bobby and them, you know, that's also on the team.
Okay.
So it's the first time in a while that we have a full roster, you know. And for the looks of it, we look pretty stacked. You know, Kiko is really good. You know, he's coming up from playing with Ronald, you know, on that JV team. You know, him, Marv Moore, Sam Alston, all those guys. So, and they're coming from winning as well. You know, so seems like we're gonna be great. And then third thing is Ricky gets suspended for the first 3 games of the season. So things are up, man.
Yeah.
But we're pissed off because it was some nonsense, you know. So our first game is against St. Raymond's, you know. And for me, it's whatever the team needs at the time, and we lose scoring with Ricky, you know. So my junior year, my sophomore year averaged about, like I said, 15, 16, something like that.
Yep.
My junior year, I averaged about 10, 11 points, you know. So that's, you know, my scoring is up and down depending on, you know, what's needed on that day.
Yes, sir.
And my scoring had to pick up against St. Raymond's, you know, so because Ricky wasn't able to play.
Yeah.
You know, so I had 19 against them. We wound up losing. You know, the morale of the team was down, so I had to have a conversation with these guys. You know, and we didn't have a really good start, you know, to the season.
Okay.
And we had no schedule. You know, we were going to Florida. I was on, you know, Coach Carey heavy about traveling. You know, Manhattan Center's traveling. These guys are traveling. And these guys, they ain't shit. Like, we'd kill them. You know, These guys are traveling. We go out and play. So we got a trip out in Florida. Then we are also playing in, I think it's called the Delaware Shootout.
Okay.
You know, so we had a nice little national schedule. We're ranked, I think, somewhere in the top 10, you know, in the nation. And we lose to, obviously, to St. Ray's. You know, obviously we dropped down. You know, I think we're in the 20s now, something like that. But eventually we pick it up, you know, and we head out to Florida. And we're playing against Torrance Francis. They put us against the house team, you know, first game.
Okay.
You know what that means when you play against the house team first game.
Already.
That means you're not. That means you're one of the weakest teams in the tournament.
Yeah, they want you out of here.
You know, this house team, we try to get them a victory.
Yeah, absolutely. They expect you to be out of here.
We smacked them by 30. So we get them up out of there. Next game is against Torrance Francis. You know, from where he went. He went to Notre Dame.
Okay.
I think that was the next game. It was either that game or the Shavlik Randolph game. Ricky had 48.
48.
We smacked those teams.
Yeah.
You know, it was a great game. You know, everybody ate off that game. They was chasing. We ran one play the whole game, and Ricky went to work. You know, everybody ate. I had 16. The guys on the bench played everything. You know, 16 and 8. Bobby had, I think, 12, 15 points, something like that. Kirill had a double-double. You know, so we had fun.
Yeah.
You know, and then, you know, the championship game we played against Westchester. They got 7 Division I players on that team committed, you know, ready, you know, going, you know. Those guys, I think Shavlik Randolph went to Duke, you know, so Mike Krzyzewski is there. Rick Pitino is there. You know, there's a few other coaches there watching, you know. Ricky gets on the phone with Rick Pitino, you know. Francisco calls him, Taekwon Dean calls him, you know, stuff like that. He's getting ready to go there. You know, Notre Dame coach ends up at our practice later on, pretty much trying to find one of us to, but I think they had a guard that was going. So it was like, we were just pretty much having a big year, but before that, I had signed early.
Okay.
I was going to Iona, Kiro, and I.
Yeah. Rick,
it was pretty
about that.
It was pretty much to get the weight off my shoulders, or whatever the case is.
Okay.
We had talks with George Mason. We had talks with I think Yale gave me a call. Rhode Island gave me a call, and Drexel. So Bruiser Flint and my man Chucky Martin. They gave me a call. To try to get to the school. I didn't. The Yale thing. Oh, and Columbia.
Oh.
So leagues. Couple. I don't know, mid majors, low mid majors, whatever the case is. And so I just decided to, sign early.
Okay.
I went on 2 visits. I went on a visit to Iona, and then I went on a visit to Drexel. I was good for me, and it was love both places. Bruiser put me on the phone with Allen Iverson, and pretty much vouching for him, stuff like that. But I'm not that guy to get excited about speaking to guys.
Absolutely.
I've been around guys like that pretty much all my life.
Your whole life.
Hanging out with my pops, I'm around legends.
Yes, absolutely. He's a legend himself.
Pee Wee Kirkland, and Tiny Archibald, whole bunch of legends. So being star, I would be in awe every place we go, and I wasn't moving that way. So
yeah.
So I still, turned him down. Bruiser and I laughed at that a few years after that. I put you in the phone with Allen Iverson. You still talk, man. So what you do? But it was a relationship, and he always gave me, great advice and stuff like that. And him being there, it was great for me, not really, listening to what the head coach is saying, head coach, on the go and stuff, as soon as Marvin McCullough get here, we're going to be great, stuff like that.
Yeah.
My thing is Tony Childs is going to be there. I'm going to be all right. Things are going to work out. You hear all these stories about things not working out right, like the Rutgers thing, that happened with those guys, Lou Flores,
yeah,
Ed, my man Earl Johnson, for me, situation like that's not going to happen, because, Tony's there, Not that I didn't have the same feel with Chucky Martin,
yeah,
but, Tone was Tone, so made that decision early, so, and not knowing pretty much how that year was going to go, playing the national schedule, stuff like that. In hindsight, you probably say, yo, maybe you should have waited. Shit, Ricky's getting recruited by by Louisville.
Yep.
And our class, I think that was like a lot of college coaches missed the boat, with our class. There's only a handful of guys that went high major, and the only guard, from my understanding, was Allan Ray.
Ray,
yeah. The other, they went after going to prep school or JUCO or something like that, But I think that class was pretty much under. I think we all, Big East guys, That's from Kiki, Jason, Steve, myself, Ricky, Bobby, so. And Ricky was mad at me that I didn't tell him because we all went on a
Said
visit
that when
together.
I interviewed, we said that he was tight because you and Kirill had already committed, and he sat down and he was like, "Yo, what's up? What y'all doing?" And it was like he had to find out on his own that y'all had
Yo,
signed. He was tight with y'all.
at the lunch table, he blasted me. He blasted me. He cursed me out, man.
He said that.
Uh, but it worked out,
Yep.
I think it worked out for the best, and my thinking is he's playing with Riverside. He's killing, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure he's not going to Iona,
Yeah. Yeah.
I have that much respect for him, as my teammate and knowing his game and stuff like that,
Yep.
So him and the Louisville thing was like a blessing. It's like my man's going. Somebody from our crew is pretty. It's going high.
Yep.
But it didn't work out well for him. With the SAT worked out. It didn't work out well for that situation. It worked out well for he ended up.
Yeah, he wound up with you for 4 more years.
But that year we played against Matt Walsh and Lee Melchione. Matt Walsh went to Florida. Lee went to Duke.
Yep.
Played against the Twins and Nate Robinson. One of the Twins went to Kansas. Nate Robinson went to the NBA, Washington.
Yeah, Washington. Yes, sir.
Played against this kid that went to Maryland. Watched LeBron put on the show. So like and I think Trevor Ariza was on that Westchester team with, like I said, 7 Division I players. 2 went to Georgetown, 1 Arizona. Heath was at San Diego State getting buckets.
Yeah.
They had a crew, man. I think one of them went to USC.
Okay.
They had a crew.
Yeah.
We lost by about 14, and we ended up playing them again in Jersey. Our guys young, scared, reading the paper, knowing who these guys are,
Mm-hmm.
a little nervous, didn't really work out well.
Gotcha.
Second time, we're very, very, very competitive. We should have won that game. We wound up losing to them, but it was a great game.
Yeah.
Like I said, national schedule, we won 18 games that year. We lost 6, if I'm not mistaken. We went to met Rice in the city championship. We lost them.
Yeah, I was there at that one.
You was at that game?
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that?
I never saw Shagari do that in my life, and I think
me.
Yeah.
I told you I played since I was 9 years old.
Yeah. Like that, I think that was the X factor because it was a good game, It was a good game.
I tried to get Shagari to come with me to All Hallows.
Got you.
Said now he's going to Rice.
Yeah.
Said, yo, Coach Carey does well with big men. He turned soccer player Olden Polynese to NBA player, man. What's up?
Facts.
Said, man, I'm going to Rice. I said, all right, man. But I think Shagari came on a visit though, But at the same time, I don't think Shagari had the grades, for all. Like I said, academics was it was pretty tough.
Yeah.
Now, our principal was even more tough. Wasn't a basketball school then. All the basketball players had trouble. So Shagari, struggling with his grades and stuff like that, I don't think it would have went well. So he made the right decision.
Got
you. And he probably backed off being that it was such a high praise academic school.
Yeah.
So but yeah, that was a really good game. We lost by 20. The game before that we played against them. The other games were pretty close. We lost by like